up, y'all? Back again. Today, I wanted to talk to you about how the narcissist is all a fake, right? But that's exactly how the enemy will come to you. I mean, there's going to be Christ, and then there's going to be the Antichrist, right? Which is the enemy, the carbon copy of the Blessed One, right? But this is how the narcissist, they're like a fake love, completely. And, anytime that you go back or go to and continue to go back to the fake, you're being deceived. It's kind of like it's not ever going to be what the real thing is. And so that's where you have to understand that you're under the spell of the enemy. A lot of times we have grown up, in these families, right? So a lot of times we were groomed this way, and we were taught and trained up this way. Not that we were bad people. We couldn't become bad if, that's the thing, they knew from the jump that we weren't going to be bad. A lot of people say that the head narcissist knows right away when you're born in the family unit, whether you're going to be a narcissist or, or not, or a black sheep. And so this is all because I do believe this, because I do believe it's all spiritual, and whatever it is that's using them, malevolent, spirit-wise, is what tells them these things. Because this is a spiritual situation, man. It's a spiritual situation from the moment that you come out of your mom's womb, your mother's womb. And it starts from the jump, y'all. And so it's not something that you should feel bad about, but just know that the enemy is always a carbon copy. He's always the fake of the real. Okay? And that's in anything. In anything. Everything on this earth mainly is going to be a fake copy of what real goodness is. I mean, in a lot of ways. Or it's got a twist to it, It's always going to look like it's prettier, more purified, or more pristine. But that's why we have intuition. And in these family units, we were taught to not hone our intuition. We were taught to do as you're told, or you'll get reprimanded. Don't think, do what we tell you. And in cases like that, these are ways that you were brought up and groomed this way, that led to all of this folly that you continue to get in at as you matured. Okay, because you're now, not only were you enmeshed in a family unit of narcissists, but then you get out and try to operate on your own, and you are being sabotaged from the jump, And so it's like you never had the tools when you were a child. And in fact, not only did you not have the tools, but you actually had the tools that you had innately were taken away from you until you woke up. I mean, but we're smart individuals, intuitively wise, and we are good at being able to know truth from the lie. I mean, that's where we're just innately on point, man. And that's something that God, see, that's where you are chosen. Okay, it's partially from that. It's kind of like your innateness, because your heart was always pure. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't really like to use that term too much, because it can sidetrack people, because you still need to get saved, but you're on the pathway that you are on innately is a wonderful pathway, man. I mean, because you're innately were such a good individual, and so they played and preyed off of that, as predators and as parasites, as your own family, as you were growing up, and devised evil against you and projected onto you, unbeknownst to you, for years and years. You wonder why you were tired a lot as a child, and you were unmotivated, or you were depressed, and you were fogged up, and you were unhappy, and you didn't have answers. And it's really a horrible situation when you think back, and a lot of if you deal with depression and that you need to make amends with, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you need to lay in a quiet space and just kind of accept the fact. So you kind of rejected some parts of your life when you were going through these things, because you felt like it was you felt like it was your fault. You felt like you were inadequate, and you weren't. What happened was you were being devised against even as early as birth. A lot of times, people like us have been, died, and as at birth, or were supposed to be thought of as, they tried to abort you and then changed their mind, got injured, or something happened, or had troubles most of your life, growing up, some of it health-wise. But you're around toxic individuals, and you didn't know you were being flanked by people that said and called and said those words of love and didn't mean it at all. They were your enemy in your home. And what makes it so bad is like, when people don't love, when people manipulate because they're infected with evil, and you just don't understand this. You don't understand this until you deal with it to a level that it causes so much trauma that it gets you to wake up. And that's kind of what happens. I mean, a lot of times when you go down this pathway, a lot of times the borderline is usually the first one that you come to. I believe that that's how this is a spell. It's cast on you when you're a child, and you're put in utter darkness. See, this is where you are put under a spell, and so you're subject to this. Okay, this is where you're subject to it, and you're innocent. You're subject to it because it's a generational curse. And in the word, and if you don't believe the word, then you should still believe in generational curses, because they still abide and they still legit. There's still laws in this world system, whether you're saved or not, whether you want to obey God or not. It's still in the system. You can't deny the law. It's kind of like if you throw something in the air, it's coming down, man. It's nothing you could change about that. I mean, you can manipulate things, but generally speaking, this is where what happened is you were innocent. You were innocent, but your generations weren't. And so the generational curses go down from, it talks in the word, from the first, second, third, and fourth to the fourth generation. And a lot of times, and a lot of times it would talk about in the word, God would say that they would even hate him a lot of times, these generations of children, and they didn't even know why a lot of times. And then a lot of it does get rooted in generational curses. That's why what you do today, and if you have children, affects them all the way down to their fourth generation for the evil deeds that you do that are pent up in your gut, pent up in your bones, in your blood, in your genealogy, and that's why it's so important to know the Lord, because when you know the Lord, he cuts through it all, y'all. He cuts through it all, man. And I promise you, man, if you study up on him, and if you read that word like you're supposed to and really dissect it, really want to get to know it, whether you are saved or not, you will, if your heart's right, you will get saved. You don't need to speak, you don't even need to say no specific prayer, except reach out and ask the Lord to abide with you, and that you understand who his son is. You don't need no special, those sometimes those are like little spoken words and incantations. You don't need all that crap, man. God's not like that. He's not a respecter of persons, and that's the great thing about God, man. He'll treat you like he treats that anybody. He'll treat the farmer in the field like he'll treat the rich man on top of the hill. The thing is you might look at the rich man on top of the hill with all these cool gadgets and toys and things, thinking God's blessing them. No, they might have those things, but they might be, you're in free will here. That's the thing. And they may have gone down a road. Yeah, they got them things, but they're getting cursed and you're getting blessed, because it's all about your soul, y'all. I always say get your ticket to heaven, man, and take whoever you can with you. But let me tell you something. This is narcissism. It's all based on this generational curse. So, I mean, if you don't want me to talk about the Lord, that's one thing. But let me tell you something. They're all connected. This is you have these individuals come to you because of generational curses, and that's why these individuals, they're not allowed to. Here's the thing. They're not allowed to get inside, condemn your soul. Only you can do that. And that's the thing. See, that's the thing. The narcissists, we had to deal with generational curses, and the proof of that is we grew up in these families. And the proof of it also is that we had to deal with the trauma of dealing with all these things. And but God's grace is sufficient. See, you could have just as well turned into the narcissist. And they had the same generational curse you did because they grew up in the same family. They chose evil. It's not that I don't feel bad for them. I do feel bad for them because it's their soul. Even that they've done bad to me, I still feel bad for them because I know what they've done. That what they're doing, they're condemning their own soul, and they tried to condemn yours. The glorious thing in all this is they couldn't. They couldn't, man. They couldn't, because when you abide under the shadow of the Almighty, He will shelter you.